Chapter 8. RAGHAV. May 10th, 4:18 p.m. Last year. The tea tastes the same as always. Strong. Slightly sharp because of the ginger. Hot enough that you have to take small sips instead of drinking it properly. I sit across the table, holding the paper cup carefully, letting the heat settle into my palm. Around us, the cafeteria is filled with the usual evening noise, people talking in small groups, chairs scraping lightly against the floor, someone laughing a little louder than necessary near the counter. Across from me, Akanksha is talking to Mira about something I'm not fully listening to. Nisha is beside her, half involved in the conversation, half looking at something on her phone. She reacts only when needed. That seems to be her pattern. This has slowly become routine. Not officially, not intentionally, just consistently. Lunch most days, tea sometimes. Same people, same timing. No one really planned it that way. It just happened. Mira suddenly leans forward, looking at her phone screen and then at us. "Golden hour," she says dramatically. Akanksha looks at her. "What?" "Outside," Mira says, already standing up. "Light is perfect. We'll get a reel." Bhupathy K. Akanksha looks at me briefly. "Coming?" Nisha exhales softly. "Again." "Content," Mira replies confidently. Nisha shakes her head but still stands up. "Give your phone." Mira grins and hands it over. I shrug slightly. "Yeah." We walk out towards the open area near the building entrance. The difference is immediate. The light is warmer outside, softer, the kind that makes everything look slightly better than it actually is. The sky has that late evening tone, not fully orange, not fully blue. Somewhere in between. A few people are already standing around, some taking photos, some just talking. Mira positions herself near the railing. "Wait, angle," she says, adjusting her hair. Nisha stands a few steps away, holding the phone with disinterest. "Just stand properly," she says. "I am standing properly," Mira argues. "You are not," Nisha replies calmly. I look at Akanksha. She smiles slightly, watching them. "Daily drama," she says. "Seems like it," I reply. Nisha starts recording. Mira turns, poses, adjusts, repeats. "Too much," Nisha says. "Art," Mira corrects. For a few minutes, their focus is fully on the reel, which leaves the two of us slightly away from them. Not intentionally, but naturally. We move a little to the side, closer to the seating area near the edge. The sunlight falls at an angle now, softer than before. It reflects slightly on the glass panels, creating a faint glow around everything. Akanksha sits down first. I sit opposite her. For a moment, neither of us speaks. "This is nice," she says, looking towards the sky. "Yeah," I reply. There is a pause. Not uncomfortable, just quiet. She takes her phone, unlocks it, scrolls for a second, and then turns the screen slightly towards me. "Hey," she says, "how is this?" I lean forward slightly to see. It's a watch. Minimal design, clean dial, neutral color. "Looks good," I say. She watches my face carefully for a second, as if checking whether I am just saying it or actually meaning it. "Too simple?" she asks. "No," I reply. "It's clean, works for daily wear." She nods slowly. Then after a small pause, I ask, "For him?" She doesn't react immediately. "For Deepak," I add. She looks at me for a second, then shrugs slightly. "Maybe." That answer feels deliberately vague, but it still confirms enough. I lean back slightly. "That makes sense." Over the past few weeks, she has mentioned him enough times. Songs, lyrics, random references. Not constantly, but often enough. "Does he even wear a watch?" I ask. She smiles faintly. "I don't know." "Then how are you choosing?" She shrugs. "I like it." "That's your only criteria?" I ask. "Mostly," she says. There is something slightly unusual about that answer. But not enough to question further. "Gift planning already?" I ask. "Just checking," she says. "Long way to February," I reply. She holds my gaze for a moment. "Time goes fast," she says. I don't respond immediately, because that is true, but also vague. Behind us, Mira's voice cuts in. "Nisha, again, you moved," Nisha replies. "I didn't, you did." Akanksha lets out a small laugh. I look at her again. There is something about the way she observes things. She doesn't interrupt often, doesn't dominate conversations, but she notices everything, even silence. "You're very quiet today," she says. "I'm always quiet," I reply. She shakes her head slightly. "No, not like this." I don't respond, because I don't fully understand what she means. A few seconds pass. The light shifts slightly as the sun moves lower. From where we are sitting, I can see the reflection of the sky on the glass panels behind her. The warm light falls across her face for a moment and then shifts again. It is a small detail, but noticeable. "Show me that again," I say, nodding towards her phone. She unlocks it and shows the watch again. I look at it properly this time. "Go for this," I say. "It's safe." "Safe?" she repeats. Yeah, I say. Neutral. No risk. She looks at me for a second. Safe choices, she says slowly. I nod. Better than wrong ones. She doesn't respond immediately, just locks her phone. In the background, Mira finally says, Done! Nisha lowers the phone. Finally. Mira walks towards us. Show? Nisha hands her the phone. Mira watches it and smiles. Good. Nisha doesn't react. You both didn't move, Mira says, looking at us. We were sitting, I reply. Very active, she says. Akanksha smiles slightly. We all stand up and start walking back towards the lift. The evening crowd has increased slightly now. More people moving in and out. Inside the lift, Mira is still watching her reel. Nisha leans against the side panel, closing her eyes briefly. Akanksha stands in front of me, holding her phone loosely. No one speaks. The lift doors close. For a moment I look at her. She is not looking at her phone, just standing. The lift moves up. At that point, everything still feels simple. Normal. Predictable. She likes someone. An indie singer. Deepak, Ram Bhupathy K. She hasn't said it directly, but she hasn't denied it either. And from my side, this is just routine. Just tea. Just conversations. Nothing complicated. At least that's what I think.